We live. Oh yeah. All right, this is the one second. Let me just move this one. All right, this is the Wednesday law class. Also, remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. UK time. Yes, it's Monday, 2 a.m. UK time. Also, check out the classes in the States, which is Tuesday through Friday, midnight our time. And also, we've got classes here Monday, Tuesday. Well, we've got classes in Birmingham Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. till 9. Then we got online class in London, 7 p.m. till 9. Then Friday, we got the radio show on the ends, which is 9 p.m. Also, Saturday, the Sabbath service. So there's a ton of things going on. You got a ton of things to check out in the UK, man. Ton of things from Monday to all the way up until Saturday. But we're gonna start off in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 7.
Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Remember the days of old.
The Bible says what? Remember the days of old, man. And today we're gonna remember some of the days of old. Like the same thing. The Bible says, remember the days of old, and that's what us in the UK should remember, man. We're supposed to remember how our oppressor treated us back then. But black people like to say, oh, that was back then, but we're going to show you how that was back then and it's still now.
That's right.
Let you know the days of old that you're supposed to remember is the same days that we live in right now, man. Read that one more time.
Remember the days of old. Consider the years of so many generations. Ask thy father.
It says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations, man. That's what we need to do. Remember the days of old. Ask your grandparents, man, who came from the Caribbean to the UK. Ask them, so what was it like when you came? And they're going to tell you it was what? It was racist. And you should be like, oh, you should be like, oh, it was racist, or it still is racist, because it still is racist, man. There's no it was about it.
That's right.
What was going on back then is exactly what's going on now. It's going on now, but they're just smarter with it. Like they just conceal it better now than they would back then. And you should ask your grandparents. So what was it like when you came back from Jamaica, man? They would say, "Oh, white people didn't like us." Guess what? 2020, white people still don't like us, man. There's no difference to when your granddad came over here to you being over here. It's exactly the same. And the Bible says, "Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations." Meaning, you ask your father about his father and how they lived and whatnot. Ask all of them, man. Find out the whole history, the family tree. Find out what they went through, man. And the reason you ask them, is what? So you can make notes, man. So when you do come to speak on, you can be like, yo, wow, my granddad came over here in the 50s and he said, these people as racist as could be. Fast forward 70 years, this place is still as racist as it could be, which is letting you know Great Britain hasn't changed, man. The thing is, things won't change until the rulership changes, man.
That's right.
As long as our oppressor rules over us, he's gonna run his kingdom like this, and he's got the right to run his kingdom how he wants to run it, man. And that also means we've got the right to run ours how we want to run ours. They don't want to employ us. Guess what? In ours, we don't want to employ them. They don't want to give us nothing. In our kingdom, we don't want to give them nothing. It's just how it goes, man. Read on.
Ask thy father, sorry, the father, and he will show thee.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Meaning, ask your father, man, and he will let you know what's going on. This happened, that happened. Just ask your father, what was it like for him in school? What was it like for him growing up in England? He's going to tell you this is a racist place, man. Ask your father, and he will show thee. And that's what we do. No matter how much your grandma lies to you and wants to be a Christian, just ask her. Don't even mention religion to her. Just ask her. So, grandma, what was it like when you came to the UK? She's going to tell you about that racism, man. And you say to her, all right, then, so what's the difference now? And she won't be able to answer you, man, because there's no difference. From them days of old when our oppressor was killing us, our oppressor's still killing us now, man. Read on.
Thy elders, and they shall tell thee.
They will tell you, man. Ask them, and they will tell you all you need to know about this place, all you need to know about Eastern Kingdom, all you need to know about the oppression. Ask them, and they will tell you. I mean, the things we say here, it's not hard to find out, man. You can find it in any history book. Like every history book you read, it will let you know, man, that the slaves was never treated good. Every history book you read, it will let you know that one people was oppressed by another people. So when we say, I don't understand what the big deal is, but for time's sake, we're going to drop that. Give me Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5.
Ezekiel 35 and 5. Because thou hast had.
Actually, you can start from verse 1.
Ezekiel 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it.
And that's what we talk about our oppressor, man. Why? Because the Bible says you set your face against it, Mount Seir, which is where Esau was, and you prophesy against it, man. You prophesy against them. Why? Because they're doing all the killing on the earth, all the evil on the earth. They're the reason why we're in this condition that we're in today, man. The reason why we can't get a job, we can barely do this, we can barely do that. Why? Because of Esau, man. He hates us so much that instead of allowing a black man to prosper, he would rather just allow East Indian man to prosper. In keeping you down, he would rather another nation that he doesn't like, but because he likes you the least, he would rather put them over you. He would rather let the Chinese come to the Caribbean and have the Chinese over you. He'd rather let the East Indians come to the Caribbean, have the East Indians over you. And the black man in the Caribbean is what? On the bottom, man. The black man in the UK is what? On the bottom. Even Polish people are starting to get shops now. Polish people got shops, all them Polish 24-hour shops. Out where they sell what? I'm sure some of them sell illegal alcohol and illegal cigarettes.
That's right, illegal alcohol, and like and also too, where they are is where they know we are.
Right.
So that when it's a late night and we want like a drink, want something to smoke with, them shops just seem to be so convenient.
Right. And they're the only shops that still sell what? I think it's illegal in the UK to sell single cigarettes.
That's right.
Listen, man, them Polish shops, people go in there and buy singles. When you're in there, you'll see someone come in there and ask for a single, and the Polish man just opens the packet and gives them. And what it is, he won't sell the singles to people in front of white people, but they look at black people as so low and that we're all criminals. That have you noticed to do certain things in front of you that they can't
That's
do
right.
no one else?
Right.
There's certain things to do in front of you, like you wouldn't sell a single cigarette in front of a white man in the suit or in front of any white man, but in front of me, you think, oh, don't worry, he's fine, he ain't gonna report it. Listen, man, I am gonna report it, man. But they think we ain't gonna. They think they can do even certain things they do in front of black people. They just see it as, oh, he's black, he ain't gonna complain. This is why what drug deals take place in front of you, stabbings and shootings take place in front of you, because everybody looks at it as like, oh, black people are always up to no good. They ain't gonna complain.
Lucky if I can. This was years ago. I was about 16. I was waiting on a bus, and there was one guy standing there looking like something was wrong. Then some white girl came, and and then he handed her a bag, and it's like they're doing an illegal exchange in front of me, but it's like you're black, like you know what I mean. It's like as if like it's wrong, but you're black. You know what I mean, you know how this goes, so
Right.
don't worry about it. Like,
That's exactly how they do it, man. They do all these activities in front of all these criminal activities in front of us, and they look at it like, wow, these lot are black. They ain't gonna complain. They don't really care. Whereas every white man you see, what do you think? Oh, he might be a police officer. You give it, you hold him at a certain standard, like he might phone the police on me. He might take a picture of my license plate. And this is why when black people harm other black people, what do they say? No, it's all right. Black people, he ain't gonna phone the police. He ain't gonna do this. You take a black man's car or something, you're like, he ain't gonna phone the police. Whereas people don't do that to their oppressor because they know what? He phones the police. The law's on his side. Whereas with black people, we know the police don't listen to us anyway. So black people, what are reluctant to call? Read on.
and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee.
The Lord's against them for all the bloodshed, man. For all the murder, them lynchings, that slavery, all the hard bondage that put black people through. The Lord's against them, man. The Lord said, prophesy and say unto them, I am against thee. So when people say, oh, use like talking about the white man, it's in the Bible, man. The Lord said, go out there and prophesy to them and say he's against them. Man.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing. Now, if the Lord said he loves him, we would have said that, but the Lord said, prophesy to him and say, yo, I'm against him, man. So that's what we're doing. Like here, the Lord is saying, prophesy against it. Like the Lord's telling you to say the things that we say, man. And it's in the Bible. Read on.
And I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
The Lord's saying, I will stretch out my hand, man. Meaning, the Lord's going to make some movements on this man. The Lord's going to make him most desolate, man. Everything that this man glorifies in right now, he's going to lose it one day. All you need to do is be patient and serve the Lord. I mean, by you not following the Lord's orders and you just attacking, thinking you can go out there and fight and do whatever. Listen, man, you ain't got the power to stretch out your hand and make them most desolate, man. You can't do that. The most you can do is go out there and get yourself locked up. That's all you can do. The thing is, the Lord can stretch out his hand and make them desolate. And who can lock the Lord up, man? No one. But you can't do nothing. So this is why you need to be in these classes and serve God, man. And follow it the way we tell you to follow it. Do what we tell you to do, man. Read on.
I will lay thy cities waste.
And their cities is going to be waste. The Lord's going to just, what's waste? Something that's, useless, not used, rubbish, garbage. Their cities is going to be that, man. Their cities is going to be rubble. Everything's going to come crashing down. And them cities that you thought was so great. Them cities that you thought was so great. The Lord's going to have them to bring them down to nothing, man. Them countries that you want to pay all this money to go on a vacation to, listen, man. Them countries is going to come down to nothing. All them countries that you wish, I want to migrate to. All those cities is going to come down to waste, man. Read on.
And thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Because Esau's forgot that God exists, man. The way Esau goes on, is like God don't exist. It's like who can bring us down? Why? The reason they think no one can bring them down. Why? Because they're the biggest superpower on the face of the earth. Every nation is scared of them, man. The rest of these nations is scared of them. And in that day, once the Lord takes them down, they're gonna know, you know what? The Lord does exist, man. They're gonna know, you know what? This is our enemy that we can't defeat. This is our enemy that we can't defeat, whereas the rest they could defeat, man. But the day is coming when they're gonna find out. Read on.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
And the Lord didn't say he hates them because of their color. The Lord didn't say prophesy against them because of their color. That's why people get us mistaken, man. Color's got nothing to do with it.
That's right.
This is why the Lord told us to prophesy against them.
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
That's why the Lord saying prophesy against them, man. Why? Because they've shedded the blood of the children of Israel, man. Understand this? This was written in the book of Ezekiel. In 2020, man, they're still shedding the blood of the children of Israel. From the time of Cain and Abel, from the time of Cain, they were shedding our blood. Time of Jacob and Esau, Esau wanted to shed Jacob's blood. When we left Egypt, Amalek wanted to shed the children of Israel's blood. It never stops, man. And what we're seeing today is nothing new. Police officers, Esau shedding Mark Duggan's blood. Rashawn Charles's. Listen, man, remember the days of old? And if you remember the days of old, you will see that history just repeats itself with this man. You will see with this man, all he does is sheds blood, sheds blood, sheds blood. Like, us are expecting to wake up one day and feel welcomed into Britain, feel welcomed and a part of Great Britain. It's never going to happen that way, man. The thing is this, we ain't supposed to feel welcome here, man. And that's fine. We just need to welcome one another, man. That's all we need to do. Forget their fake love and their welcomes and their hellos and their highs and them pretending that they care about black people. It's all fake, man. They don't care about black people. All they do with black people is when you got a talent, they use you. They use you for your talent. And then what happens? When you get old, nobody cares about you no more, man. Just look at all your athletes. It happens to every last one of them. And why do you think black athletes have to stick around longer? Why is it always the black athletes that go bankrupt? Like, I ain't seen David Beckham go bankrupt yet, man.
That's right.
But Ronaldinho, who was way better than David Beckham, went bankrupt, man. Ronaldinho, who was way better than David Beckham, tried to go to Peru with a fake passport. Tried to go Peru with a fake passport, man. And he hit rock bottom, man. All these footballers who's way better than David Beckham and Michael Owen go bankrupt. Why? Because our oppressor does something with them, man. Uses them. And then in the end gets rid of them. Why do you think black boxers have to stick around longer than white boxers, man? Like Anderson Silva, for example, man. One of probably the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. Guess what? He's old and washed up now, and Dana White forced him to retire. Do you see how he told him he's retiring?
Yeah, saw it.
And that right there, man, you used the man for his talent. When he was on top of the world, talked about how great he is, how he's transforming the sport. And now that he's old and washed up and no use to you, guess what? You say, I'm not giving him no more fights. Why? The reason he's not giving him no more fights is because he's not bringing no more money in. And black artists need to realize that even when you're doing sports, these oppressors don't love you. They just love the talent that you have. And this is why most musicians and black musicians end up going bankrupt. Most footballers, black ones, end up going. Did Ian Wright go bankrupt as well?
Not sure about Ian Wright.
Yeah, Ian Wright went bankrupt. Yeah, it was Ian Wright. He went bankrupt as well, man. Had to sell his house and live in some smaller house. And that's why he went on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, man. Just to get a little 100 grand. Meanwhile, Michael Owen, man, he ain't gone bankrupt yet. Wayne Rooney, all of them, they ain't gone bankrupt yet. But these black footballers do. And you mean to tell me it's because what we got poor money management? Nah, man. It's because they're doing something behind the scenes. All these secret deals and taking your money and all of them stuff. And then what they do is they throw women in the mix somewhere And then what happens is these footballers and whatnot, celebrities get caught up in these scandals. And that's why what Mike Tyson went jail for rape, Tupac went jail for rape. If it's even true. Now, I'm not saying it ain't true. I don't know. I wasn't there. But if it's even true, now what does the oppressor do? Makes them do something and blackmails them. And when you don't do what he wants you to do, guess what? Yeah, what's the word you use? Blackboard. Like, look at Wiley, man. Wiley just spoke out about his money. Now, Wiley spoke out about his money, and have you heard a peep from Wiley since?
La.
Wiley's been shot all the way down, man. Wiley can't even come on Instagram no more, can't even comment. Read on.
By the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time, in their time that their iniquity had an end.
In the time that their iniquity had an end, man. In the time when what? Our punishment should have ended. Not with this oppressor, though. This oppressor doesn't allow. This oppressor sees us and he sees the opportunity. There's a time our iniquity had an end. What did this oppressor say? I'm not going to let it end, man, because I need them to do this. I need them to do that. We can make money off them. Like, what happened? These oppressors sin black people and thought, yo, cheap labor. Like, and do you know how you, and this is how you know they've got brotherhood among themselves. You know why? Because they took a voyage to get cheap labor, man. Whereas they could have said, you know what? Why don't I just take such and such his son next door and make him do the work? They said, nah. They said, like, oh, we're not going to do that, man. They said, we're going to travel and get cheap labor because they looked at you like you wasn't a human. And in 2020, they still look at you like you're not a human, man. And the more we think that they love us, the more they show us that they don't love us, man. All this fake love they give us. And even, for instance, you look at the mobiles, man. Like, you have what? I.S.U.P.K, what? The best hip hop awards. They don't know nothing about the culture, man. Like, I seen black people moaning about the mobiles, talking about, oh, they've been nominated. What black people need to do is, all of us say, forget the mobiles, man. We ain't interested.
That's right.
We say we ain't interested in the mobiles. You like do your thing, man. Let them do the mobiles with Katy Perry and Amber Rose and whoever else they got, Adele. Let them do that, man. And then we will have a black one where we got Beyonce, Jay-Z. Which other people else is they? There's tons of them. Neo, Usher, Chris Brown, all of them, man. We've got. And when you look at these white awards, the majority of the people there is us, man. And why do we need like why do we? Which is the white ones? The mobiles. The black ones, the mobiles. Which is the white one? The Grammys. Word towards. Like, what does an award from an Edomite mean, man? You mean to tell me I'm not a good artist because I ain't got a Grammy? Listen, man, let them keep their awards, man. Like,
Right.
how can they say to me? How can they decide that I'm a good artist based on what they listen to? What you need to understand is, if some of their old artists were still alive, you wouldn't even be getting awards, man. If Elton John, Elvis Presley, Marilyn Manson, what's the next one's name? Can't remember his name. All them devils. If them devils was around, man. Yeah, all of them ones, man. Guess what? You wouldn't be getting no awards, man. The thing is this, obviously their talent pool's dry at the moment. And you're the thing, you're the engine that's keeping the entertainment going. Like, without black people, the entertainment sector is just not there, man. We the ones that's keeping it going. Salakia Tizarpan, can you get me Maccabees, the first Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 20? So we keeping this whole thing going, man. Without us, this place is nothing, man.
That's right.
No country is nothing without the Israelites. We the one that keep it going. We the one that give it flavor. All these awards is about us, man. All these verses, have you noticed you've never seen the verses between two white people?
Never.
Exactly. You've never seen the verses between two Edomites, man. All these verses battles is what? Between Gucci and Jeezy. Bound to Killer and Beanie Man. Is it Brandy and what's the next one's name that was Snoop Dogg and DMX? I think it was Brandy and Monica. Listen, man, all these verses is between black artists, man. Read that
Right.
up one.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 20. And after that, Antiochus has smitten Egypt, and he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem.
And it came back and went up against Israel and Jerusalem. The Bible says, remember the days are old. These is old days when he came up against us, man. And he's also coming up against us right now in 2020. He's still coming up against us. Ain't nothing changing. Go ahead.
And went up against Jerusalem with a great multitude.
And that's what they do. Come up against us with a great multitude, man. Whether it be police, their military, whether it be slave masters, they come up against us with a great multitude, man.
That's right.
They come up against us with a strong army. Strong army full of might, power, come up against us all aggressive. Go ahead.
And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light.
And they took what we had, man. This is the days of old. They took the candlestick and the altar, man. Same like slavery days. What did they do? Took away your cattle, took away all your possessions, took away your freedom. This man's been taken from us from the days of old, man.
That's right.
From the days of old, this man's been taken from us, and he never stops taking from us. Now he just takes our life. Now we got nothing left. When we did have gold and stuff, he took all of that.
Right.
Took a country that belonged to us. Even took our nationality, man.
Right. That's right.
Took our nationality and our culture, and then now we got nothing left, man. Like you would think if someone robs your clothes, they're gonna at least leave you with your drawers or something. Not this man, man. This man will take everything, man. This man will strip you naked, and then when he does strip you naked, you're gonna be like, all right, I've got nothing else to give. This man also takes your life on top of it. Like you would think a thief would be like, all right, then I'm just gonna take, but I'm not gonna kill. I'm just gonna take and go. Not this man. This man takes, and then when there's nothing left to take, he just kills you. There's nothing left to take, and he go, and in his mind, it's like, let me just kill him. Like with these, man, who had us work on these plantations. Once you got to a certain age, they would just kill you, man. Because why? Feeding you cost them money. Once they was on the slave ships, one ship called the Zong, because the sailor drove past this location, they looked at the slaves and threw the slaves off the ship, man. Threw them overboard and said, you know what? Don't worry, they're insured. He said if they die other ways, they're not insured. But if we say they jump to their death, the ship's insured. So they threw about 42 children, man. For about 42. Imagine you're on a slave ship. You see your children get thrown off the ship. He threw them off the ship because he didn't want to feed them. Imagine you're a parent shackled and you see your son get thrown off a ship, man. You see your daughter get thrown off a ship and they're never coming back. I mean, you cry when your children go to jail, man. Imagine how you're going to cry in that day how you cried in that day when you just seen them get thrown off a ship in water, man. And you shackled up. You can't even jump in to save them. You can't even look over to see if they're swimming or what's going on. All you know is they've just thrown them off a ship. You're never going to see them again. Can't give them a proper burial. And you mean to tell me we should love this man? Nah, man. Listen, man, this man burnt his bridge with us a long time ago.
That's right.
This man burnt his bridge with us a long time ago, man. That bridge is burnt. There's no such thing as us loving them, man. There shouldn't be no such thing as us loving them. That bridge is burnt. He's done too much things to us, man. Like, when are we going to wake up and realize this man's the devil, man? We need
That's
to
right.
love him. The amount of things he's done to black people and we still love him, it don't make no sense. Done.
So, like the other one, you know, you mentioned, you're talking about it steals, and I'm trying to find the scripture where it says, how are the things of Esau searched out? Like, if great gatherers come to thee, will they not steal until they have enough?
That's in Obadiah.
Obadiah 4. Obadiah.
Yeah, that's in Obadiah. You can pull it if you want.
Kind of before, yeah. Right. Yeah, I'll read on. I'll find it in a sec. I'll read on now then.
Right, no, sir.
Verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of lights and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels
This man
and the
took everything,
veil.
man. Like this man took things that didn't even mean nothing to him. Like what does he care about the showbread and the vessels? Like what does this man care about it? There's certain things like him, like usually with a thief only steals something that they want or need. Like a thief don't ever look like a thief wouldn't just look at some caps on your tires and be like, oh, I'm gonna steal them for no. If he wants them, he'll take them. But Esau looks at things that mean nothing to him and steals them, man.
Right.
Like you wouldn't look at a man. A thief wouldn't look at a man's notepad and be like, oh, I'm gonna take that. You know why? Because that notepad don't mean nothing to him, man. It's not worth him stealing. With Esau, he will take it though, just because he knows how much it's gonna upset you. He
That's
does
right.
things knowing it's gonna upset you, and this is why under slavery, your manager golds you into hitting him, man. Your manager golds you into attacking him, man, and he winds you up because he knows. Like usually, they see black people as like they see black people as yeah, we want them sacked. Say enough stuff to him and he's gonna hit us because they know that black people don't really put in complaints and write notes, have a union. They know that we don't really have them things. They just know with us, I know it's enough and we're gonna go off on you. That's what they know. So your manager will goad you. You hit him, he drops on the floor, he touches his mouth like that. And then before you know it, you've got the sack. And he exaggerates it, man. Before you know it, he's got the sack. And then he phones the police and says, I'm scared. He knows where I work. He called me this, he said that. He was very aggressive. These times you weren't as aggressive as he's making out. So don't ever give them the benefit of the doubt, man. Do to them what they do to us. Meaning, you document everything, man. Document everything. Go to your union. Go higher up than them and complain, man. Do it professionally. Because when you do that, that makes them hate you even more, man. And then they have to come to the office tomorrow and see you, a black man who should have got angry and kicked off but didn't. They have to see a black man who should hit them but didn't. They have to come to the job, go home to their wife and say, oh, this nigga still works there. Even though you know they say that. They all say it, man. The thing is, every race of people's racist wants to get home, man.
That's right.
I think they're gonna stay at home. Don't say the N-word. Nah, man. They say the N-word. They watch movies and listen to music, man. You think listen? You think they if they didn't want to be racist and say the N-word, they would have the censored version of these albums, man. They'd have the censored version of these albums, but they don't, man. Because they're singing it, and they have the cheek to say, well, black people say it. Listen, man, we're allowed to say it, but you ain't allowed to say it, man.
That's
they
right.
Say, well, black people say it. What does that mean, man? Well, black people say it. I'm allowed to say it, and you're not allowed to say it. Me and you ain't the same, man. You ain't black, man. You ain't been a slave. You ain't never picked no cotton, man. When I call my brother and they say that's my nigga, man, I'm saying that because that's my brother, man.
That's right.
As for you white boys, he ain't your nigga, man. And you shouldn't even say that word. In the kingdom, that word's not even allowed to pop up in your head, man. I'm gonna know your thoughts. That word can't even pop up in your head. But I read on to Zopwan.
That's right. Verse 22. And the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the veils, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled.
And took all of it, man. He took all of it, the vessels. These is things where it meant something to us. Why? Because we know the laws of God. But to him, he don't know the laws of God. So why does he need a menorah? Like what does it mean to him? What does a menorah mean to him? Well, he took it, man. Like they just take anything, things that they don't even want, just to take it. Like when McDonald's closes, what do they do? Throw away all the food when they could just give it to someone else. They could just be like, you know what? There's a homeless man out there. Let me give him that double cheeseburger. They'd rather look you in the face and throw it in the bin, man. They'd rather look in the face and throw it in the bin They don't give out nothing for free. In McDonald's, you can barely get free cups, man. In there, you order a meal, they give you one sauce, man. That's how stingy this man is. He expects you to eat 6 nuggets with one sauce, man. You ask him, can I have one more? Remember when he's charged for the sauce? At one stage, he used to charge for the sauce, and it was what, 5p. He saw so tight, he started charging for them plastic bags, man. 5p for them plastic bags, he started charging. To now, what do black people do? Just push the trolley out to the car and just put the things in the boot, man. Don't even buy the bags. Just push that whole trolley out to the car and put it all in the boot. But go ahead.
Pulled and with all which he pulled off, and he took also the silver and gold and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found.
Listen, man. This man was searching high and low. It said he took the hidden treasures which he found.
That's right.
Like when the Bible says, yo, a man would what? Leave one grape. Not this man. This man searches until he finds that last grape, man. Until there's no grapes there. This man even searched and found the hidden treasures. You would have thought it would have just been in and out real quick. Not this man. Read on.
Verse 24.
Actually, for time's sake, jump down to verse 29.
Verse 29. And after.
1 second. Yeah, read verse 24.
Verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and having made a great massacre.
Listen, man, the Bible says, remember the days of old. Esau's been making great massacres against us, man. A massacre is when you kill a mass amount of people, man.
Right.
Esau's been doing that. A great massacre. And now you mean to tell me we must love them? Listen, man, during slavery, that was a great massacre, man.
That's right.
Maccabees, that was a great massacre. During the time when we left Egypt, when Amalek came, that was a great massacre. What Esau does is massacres us, man. Kills us. And the Bible says, remember the days of old. So how are you in 2020 expecting me to love them when they're still doing this great massacre? They're still killing black people left, right, and center. It lets you know that this man can't change and won't change.
That's right.
Like you still holding out for him to change. You might just get caught up in his next great massacre, man. Who's always shooting up them schools? Esau. Why? Because he's mad at his life. He's so mad at his life. Meanwhile, we the ones whose our life is horrible, and we ain't shooting up no schools. We ain't killing nobody. What do black people say? Black people say, oh. All black people do is off like, oh. That's the most we do, man. What does Esau go and do? Shoot up a school. Like, my thing is this: why? Like, all right, you're miserable with your life, but why do you have to kill other people who's got nothing to do with why you're miserable with your life? Like, why do you have to? Why do I have to be at the bar and you're trying to shoot up the bar because you're mad at your life? Surely Esau should just stay at home and do what he wants to himself and not involve the rest of us. Imagine you get caught up in his massacre, man, in his nonsense, or because why? His mom don't buy him a PlayStation 5. Listen, man, it won't surprise me if Edomite shoots up the game store because he didn't get a PS5, man. Listen, man, when they open back on Wednesday, Esau might be there, man. Listen, if these Edomites don't get that PlayStation 5 for Christmas, they're going to be as miserable as could be, man.
God.
The report saying there's no more, they might not get no new stock till 2021. Listen, man, Esau's about to lose his mind, man. Esau's going to be like, yo, so that universal credit money we gave you, you brought a PS5 with it. That PS5 belongs to us, man. Esau's going to be like, we don't give you universal credit for you to have a PS5, man. We're going to want you up out of that house because they're that mad. Read on. Jump to verse 29.
29, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tributes unto the city of Judah.
So now, after that great massacre, 2 years later, man, they sent his chief man to collect the tribute, meaning the tax money and you become once a once you get conquered, you become tributaries, meaning what? You have to pay money to other countries and whatnot. So this man comes with money. Go ahead.
Khan, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude.
Came with a great multitude. Now, every time Esau comes to conquer you, what does he do? He comes with a great multitude, man.
That's right.
Every nation that he goes to, he goes with a great multitude. Why? Because he believes strength is in numbers. Like Esau, he's carnal. So he believes strength is in numbers. So he goes there with a great multitude, man, to scare you into submission, to scare you into giving up everything, to scare you into everything. That's why the police come out in such a large amount of numbers, man, to scare you, man. That's why the army come out in large amount of numbers to scare you. Go ahead.
Khan, he came to Jerusalem with a great multitude, verse 30, and spake peaceably.
And this
peaceable
is
word.
Esau speaks peacefully, man. Oh, don't worry, man. You just pay this money and everything will be all right. Esau speaks peacefully, man. Esau will listen, man. You commit a crime, Esau will tell you in the courtroom, oh, don't worry, just own up to it and we'll reduce the time. Just own up to it and you won't go to jail. It's just a suspended sentence. Listen, you get trust in that white man, guess what? You get the full sentence, man.
That's right.
Don't snitched on your friends. And this devil still locked you up.
God.
They speak kind words unto you. Oh, just tell us this and we'll let you off. Nah, man, they're not going to let you off, man. You better have to stick with I don't know nothing about nothing, man.
That's right.
There's a documentary that come out, man. There's a documentary that come out the other day on Netflix about how they framed the black men, man. Do you see how the gun?
I've not seen it.
Fuck, you seen it as well, to Zap one?
No, I've not seen it, sir. No.
How one of the uncles come out of jail, and the police said to him, "Yo, blame it on your nephew if you don't want to go back to jail." He said, "I don't want to blame it on my nephew because my nephew didn't do it. I don't know if he did. He didn't do it." The policeman goes, "All right, well, we're just going to say this cocaine was on you going back to jail." He had to say that his nephew, man, committed the crime, and that man was in jail for 25 years. He was in jail for 25 years, man. It's called trial 4. It's called trial 4. This man was in jail for 25 years for something he didn't do. And the police knew he didn't do it. They just wanted to pin it on the black man. Also in that same series, there was some devil and his brother killed his wife. So one devil and his brother killed his wife. And then, guess what? They blamed it on a black man. Said it's known to the police it was him. They threw him in jail. But one of the devils couldn't take it and went to the police and owned up and said, you know what? This black man didn't kill him. It was me and my brother that did it. Whereas all these crimes that happen, they know, all right, just say it was a black man. What happens when they want to pin things on someone? It was a black man. That's why police always come to you. Oh, somebody matching your description. That's a lie, man. They always want to come and say somebody matching your description. They know you no crime, man. Oh, we've had a burglary in the air. Every time they stop a black man, we've had a burglary in the area. Well, considering you've had a burglary, you don't see me running. You don't see me with no balaclava. You don't see me with no bag. What have I burgled? Like, if I was going to do a burglary, I would have had a big bag. You don't see me with that. So what have I burgled? And they say, oh, just for routine purposes and all of this nonsense. They don't ever approach our person like that. They just approach us like that. Like when they see black people, you have to be a criminal. You're a robber. You're a burglar. Read on.
Verse 29, 30. Oh God. For when they had given him from 30, and spake peaceable words unto them.
He spoke peaceable words unto them. This man speaks peaceable words unto us. Don't worry, you can get out of jail. Just tell the truth. All you need to do is tell the truth. And you be in the interview room. Thinking, oh, I want to get out of jail because the police said if I do this, listen, man, you're not gonna get out of jail, man. You better have to go in with your no comment interview, man. You better have to stick in with that no comment. Everyone knows about that no comment interview. No comment, man. No footage, no witnesses. I don't know. It's not me. No comment. Police, listen. Police hate it when a black man goes no comment in them interviews, man. Like you can tell they just want to beat you. They want to beat you, man. They want to beat you for you to say whatever. And this is why in court, the judge gives you a harsher sentence, man. Like they look at black people and be like, all right, then you got that smug look on your face. I give you is gonna wipe that smug look off your face. And then one time I remember they gave a black man a sentence for 25 years. And the judge thought the black man was gonna fold. The black man looked at the judge and said, "Suck you, mum." The judge was like, the judge called him back and tried to put an extra year or 2 on there. The black man said, "Oh, I got 25 years. What's the extra 2 years to that?" And you could see the judge was furious, man. The judge was furious. And the sad thing is, black people get sentences that ain't right, man. It don't reflect the crime that they've done. Even though crime is wrong, but the sentence they get doesn't reflect the crime that they've done. Because you mean to tell me? That's right. You mean to tell me? There's a case as well. I can't remember what his name is. Some Edomite. He done some crime. He murdered his friend. His name's Joseph Mackey. I believe that's his name, Joseph Mackey or something. He murdered his friend. And guess what? He got 2 years, man. 2 years in jail. Listen, man. A black man the other day stabbed someone. The person didn't die. He got 28 years, man. So how does a man get 2 years for murder and 28 years for attempted murder? The reason why is because the justice system is rigged. And you're a black man. And when you're a black man and you know that justice system's rigged, it means don't commit no crime, man. Like that should be the first thing that comes in your mind. That I can't commit crimes like these other nations do because the justice system's rigged and it's not in my favor. And this man here done a great massacre. But read on.
What I was gonna say, Salaki.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Salaki other one. They would give pedophiles lighter sentences and lock you up for selling drugs. Obviously, it's wrong, but they'd rather give pedophiles 2 years and give a drug dealer, what I'm saying, something like 8 years or 9, 10 years. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So definitely.
Exactly. And it lets you know, man. It lets you know, like what Esau like what Esau does is he forgets about the weightier matters of the law, man. Now all of it is you shouldn't do, but Esau forgets about the weightier matters of the law, man. Like certain crimes, disgusting crimes, 2 years in jail. A man rapes a kid or molests a kid, 6 months in jail. Meanwhile, a man steals or has a fight, 3 years in jail.
Right.
Don't add up, man. Something ain't right, but read on.
That's right. That's because they are pedophiles themselves. That's why. But
apparently they're trying to lower the age as well.
Right. Exactly.
Apparently they're trying to lower the age, man. Like 16 isn't low enough.
30. Come on. Verse 30. Verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when?
And every time this man speaks to you, all is deceit, man. It's lies, it's trickery. It's lies and trickery, man. Everything he speaks to you is deceit, man. In a minute, we're gonna go into a book though, in a minute, but everything that he speaks to you is lies and deceit. And we've been trusting him forever, man.
That's right.
We've been trusting him from the time of Cain and Abel, man. Killed Abel, man. After that, what happened? Esau wanted to kill Jacob. After that, what happened? We left Egypt. Amalek started killing us, man. The book of Maccabees, another great slaughter. 2020, still killing us. 1400, still killing us. 1600, still killing us. When are we going to wake up and smell the coffee and realize, all right, then it's time to separate from this man? Like, he speaks words of deceit. His words of deceit is God loves everybody. You're welcome to come to our church. No, this ain't a black and white thing. This ain't a black and white thing. And you start believing it's not a black and white thing. And then before you know it, you hear them speaking about you behind closed doors saying, oh yeah, this nigga here, this nigga there. Listen, man, they call you a nigga behind your back. They call you make all kind of black jokes about you.
That's right.
Like, you become a joke to them. They make all kind of black jokes about you and laugh and be like, he trusts us. Listen, man. They're scared of you when you don't trust them, man. Now, when they know they got you right where they want you, that's when they treat you like garbage. Whereas in here, because we don't love them and we don't show them no respect, guess what? They kiss our boots. We speak to them like they're already in slavery, man.
God.
Imagine we the slaves right now, but we speak to them like they're already in slavery. We speak
That's-
to them like they're the cotton pickers. We speak to them saying, yo, you better kiss these boots. If you want some mercy from the Lord, kiss these boots, man. And when
Right.
they're kissing these boots, we're mocking them, telling them, this man right here is going to be the greatest cotton picker in the kingdom, man. This man's going to be the greatest of all time when it comes to picking cotton, man. And you have these devils with their hands in the air agreeing, man. That's how we treat them. Meanwhile,
Right.
the same devil who's kissing our boots is oppressing you on your job, man. The same devil who's kissing our boots, he decides if you're allowed to go on your holiday, if you're allowed your annual leave, man. Meanwhile,
Right.
we've got him kissing our boots. We treat them like they're already in slavery. We treat them like they're like the animals, like they're the animals that they are, man. The thing is,
Right.
you treat them with respect, man. You treat them with respect, and then they just show you how disrespectful they can be, man. But I read on.
Alan Khan, 30. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and
Did what?
smote it. Oof. When they have given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it.
Man, and killed them, man. And that's what this man does.
That's
You put
right.
man, you have your hands up, and it still shoots you, man. This
Right.
man says, don't worry, it's just a stop. It's just a stop. You're scared for your life. You say, yo, there's no need for your camera. It's just a traffic stop. Don't worry about it. Just give me your ID. You give him credence. ID. Listen, man. You don't shoot. It shoots you, man. How much black men have been shot by the police for no reason? Tons of them, man. Tons of them. Meanwhile, we trust them and love them and think, oh, this is just going to be a traffic stop. Nah, man. Usually it's never not just a traffic stop. When they want to lock you up, they find everything. Oh, you got a bulge in your tires.
Right.
Your window wipers need changing. Your license plate's covered. Like, they start finding little things, man, just to lock you up, just to ruin your day and whatnot. But the Bible says, wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. To pull you over and ask for your ID, just give him your ID, man. Give him your ID and get the hell up out of there, man. There's no need for all the arguing and the back chat. You just give them your ID. Then what you do is you go to the police station and put in a complaint, man. Put in a complaint. I got this officer's badge number. He stopped me on this day for no reason and whatnot. And then before you know it, when they come behind your car and your license, because your license plate flashes up and it gives you all the details. You know what? It gives you all the details they need to know about you.
That's right.
Address, the insurance, your MOT. Like, why do they need to stop you? Like, why?
Right.
That's the whole point of you having your not AMP, or what's it called?
Harassment, Salaki. That's called harassment.
Nah, they got a system. I can't remember what it's called. The PNC. That's what it's
No.
called.
Salaki. Salaki, I was saying they're harassing you, man, because they got all the details already.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly.
And
man. Sometimes I seen a brother get stopped and he's like, I'm going to work, I'm going to be late. And I felt his pain, man. Because when you go to work and say, oh, the police stopped me, your boss is going to be like, you're late again. And then before you know it, you're probably out of a job, man. Like, you can't win. That's what the saying goes, you're in between a rock and a hard place, man. Trying to go to the police are pulling you over. You get to work while you're late. And these devils in the job have the cheek to say, well, you should have left out earlier. Have they ever said that to you? You should have left out earlier. One time I was late. I said, no, they blocked off the roads because they're doing some running. It was his brothers doing the running, bear you in mind. You know, when Esau runs around in his gay little shorts every so often. He runs around in his shorts around town to block off all the roads.
And then, I'm sure.
Never had the cheek to say, you should have left out earlier. Listen, I was fuming that day. I had to hold it in. You don't understand. I was fuming that day. I should have left out earlier. Maybe your brothers shouldn't be jogging, man. Tell them get that jogging in for when Christ returns. They're going to need that stamina, man. They're going to need all that exercise and whatnot, man, for when Christ returns. What I read on.
Right, and smote it very sore. It's like when he gave him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel.
And that's what they did, man. A massacre, destroyed much people of Israel. Now, that's in the Apocrypha, man. Give me jump to Matthew chapter 2 and verse 16. Let me show you how this oppressor still does massacres, man. Like all throughout the Bible, you can find that with them where they've murdered us in mass numbers.
2:16.
You can
Matthew
find-
chapter 2. God. Matthew chapter 2, verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem.
And he did what?
And Salakia. He sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem.
Man went and did another massacre, man. Killed all the children. Esau doesn't stop doing massacres, man. Like he has to kill. He showed from the beginning, man. This man has to kill, and he can't help it. Read on.
And in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according
babies, man. This man killed all the. Imagine he wanted to kill Christ, and because he couldn't find him, guess what he did? He killed all the 2-year-olds and under, man. And you're meant to tell me the white man kills individuals. No, man. This man killed all the children of Israel that was 2 years and under, man. He was looking for one child. He was looking for one child, but said, you know what? I'm going to kill the rest of them. This is why we need to stick together, because this ain't no individual thing. You look at it like you're not a part of this nation. When you are a part of this nation, man.
Right.
When the Greeks came to us in the book of Maccabees, they didn't look at it like, you know what? Some of these black people are good and whatnot. They slaughtered most of them, man, because they don't look at us as individuals. Now, when you see a black man get killed on the news, you should know, you know what? This could be me. This could be my son. This could be my brother. That's how we need to think. But we think, oh, that was just him. Until it gets close to home. And then you realize, like, you think that that the white man's got a special position for you that makes you exempt from him killing you. They don't make you exempt, man. They don't look at us as individuals. Read on.
From 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
He killed them children, man. Them children, and listen, children that too are innocent, they don't know nothing. This man still killed all of them because he don't care. So you mean to tell me you, as a grown black man, he cares about you? Nah, man. But drop Tazap on them. Are you able to pull an article from that side?
I'll
put it in there.
I wanted to read Obadiah. Shall I just squish it or?
Oh yeah, you can quickly get that. And
yeah.
SELMA equals double MA.
God, do you want me to? Shall I read it? I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 5. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not?
Yeah, go ahead.
God, would they not have stolen till they had enough? If great gatherings
until they had enough, man, they would have stolen until they had enough. Not this oppressor though. This oppressor, he never has enough. Like I said, he wants to steal everything you got, and then once there's nothing else for him to steal, he wants to take your life.
Right.
He wants to kill you and take your life. But I'm going to read this article. Tazarpan, you pulled me Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. So we're going to read this article.
Okay.
This is from the metro.co.uk. Black woman refunded 30 grand after paying double the rent.
Hold on, she paid what?
After paying double the rent.
This black woman was charged double the rent, man. This is either a 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. I'm sure it's this year. But she got refunded this year, but it probably happened last year. She was charged double the rent, man. Now we're going to read on.
I got it on the screen as well, so they can. Paying double the rent of white neighbor.
They said a black woman was paying double the rent of a white neighbor. Black man, this is your life in this place. Believe it or not, you're paying double everything, man. Whether you know it or not, you're paying double everything, and you don't even know. When you go to rent a house, they tell you a price that's way too much, in hope that you don't rent it, because sometimes they don't want you in their neighborhoods, man. We're gonna get all them. We got all them articles today as well. I've got enough time. We're gonna get every last one of them articles, man. But read on.
That's the sister right there.
And there's the sister right there on the screen.
Right. A housing association has repaid a black woman 30 grand after she was charged double the rent of her white neighborhood.
Oh, she was charged what?
Double the rent of her white neighbor.
She was charged double the rent of her white neighbor. Now, you're going to tell me that's a coincidence. There ain't no coincidence, man. The houses that they was living was the same. It was exactly the same. We're gonna keep that part. Their houses was the same, but this one's paying double the rent. Read on.
Double the rent of her white neighbor for an identical house.
Paying double the rent as a white neighbor for an identical house. Listen, black man, understand that. Imagine you're paying double the rent, which means what? You've got less money to go on vacations, less money to buy groceries, less money to buy new school clothes for your kids, less money to buy things for your house. Now, why do you think white people's got all these nice brand new BMWs on the drive? Why? Because you're paying double the rent, man. You're paying double what they're paying. Imagine you're paying twice as much and they're paying half of what you're paying, which means what? They've got that extra half left over, man. Which means what could you do with an extra £500? You can, go get a nice car. You could even rent another house. She was paying for 2 houses rather than renting one. Meanwhile, this white neighbor was only paying 500. And this is why we forever looking at these devils on our job saying, yo, so how's he got that car?
That's right.
And I can't afford. When by the time the end of the month comes, I'm scraping. I'm asking people, can I borrow money? You're wondering, why is it like that for you? And it's not like that for him. You're thinking, how come he's got money left over? And then everybody's looking at you like you've got poor money management. When the truth is, you're paying double the rent, man. But nobody's ready for that conversation. Right. Black people are paying twice as much. Read on.
Sir Alma Eccles for Orty says she feels exploited.
And imagine she was paying it and didn't even know, and she feels exploited. And every time we've been talking about this in the UPK for years, man. And we've been talking about this in the UPK, man. Especially in the UK. We've been talking about this in the UK for time, man. About double the rent. And now I need to print this article. So like I need to print this article. I need to print this article just so one day I can just walk around with this account and let people know, because people think we're just angry black men with a chip on our shoulder. People think these are just angry black men and they're mad at the world. Right. Man, this is what we're mad at. We're mad at paying double rent, man. That's what we're mad at. Yeah, go ahead.
Feels exploited after sanctuary allowed the inequality to continue for 3 years.
They allowed the inequality to continue for 3 years, which means what? In 3 years, this woman paid double the rent, man. Imagine she's paying. Imagine, all right then, she's paying £1,000 a month. She paid what? She paid 12 grand.
36 grand over 3 years.
Yeah, she paid 36 grand for 3 years. This devil paid half of that, man. This devil paid about what, 18 grand then. So she paid 36 grand. This devil paid 18 grand. Which means this black woman could have had 18 grand extra, man. You know what you could do with 18 grand? 18 grand is what? To put a deposit on the house, you have to put what? Put down 10 grand?
No, you have to put down 10%.
10%,
whatever it is.
So if she wanted to buy a house which is 180 grand, that would have been a 10%. But she ain't got that 10%. Meanwhile, the white neighbor has. Why? Because the white neighbor save £500 a month. And people wonder why black people are so low on the property ladder, why black people ain't got no houses, why black people ain't got no businesses. Because you're charging us double rent, man. That's the reason why.
Slug, if I can just add on to that, and what he's saying is heavy right there, because what the world likes to do is make the problem that we have seem like it's just our fault. Like you're just lazy when there's a hidden hand that makes sure we don't achieve. And this is one example here. You mean she has a job, she's paying rent, but guess what? She's paying double the rent, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. No. Oh, I mean, if you want to bring this
So she was paying double. Imagine double of 500 is 1,000, man. Any more in that? Or
continued for 3 years, once even serving her an eviction notice.
They served an eviction notice, and the reason they probably charged their double rent is why. It gets better.
It gets better.
Go ahead.
While letting off her neighbor.
While doing what?
While letting off her neighbor.
They served her an eviction notice, and she's paying double the rent.
Right.
And the who's paying half the rent, which is letting you know they don't want you in their properties. They don't want you in their neighborhoods, man. Some of them would rather pay cut than have you in their property. I think there's one there where she mentions anxiety and stress.
Yes. 1 second.
We're gonna get more on that, man.
The mom of one is now considering legal action against the company, which has refused to compensate her for the stress and anxiety.
For the stress and anxiety, man. They put her stress and anxiety, and I can say, man, you find out you've been paying all that money, and your white neighbor hasn't. And the thing is, this sister here is not in the truth. So in her mind, white people's not racist. In her mind, now she realizes now that they are, man. Now she's realizing that they are, and then she even says it when we read on further down.
Caused by the situation, HuffPost reports, Sanctuary has denied discrimination with an independent probe finding no evidence to suggest the rent disparity was down to race discrimination.
So they said there's no evidence. It's just a coincidence that the black woman has double rent. It's just a coincidence. Why couldn't that have been the other way around? Don't sound like a coincidence to me. In church, though, in church, your pastor will tell you that this is a coincidence. He'll say, don't worry, it's a coincidence. This ain't no coincidence, man. They've been doing it from the time we came to the UK, and I got it in this book right here, man, and I'm going to show you. Is there anyone that?
Nah, it's silly.
Okay. All right, so upon read that scripture you're holding for me.
Come on. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old.
The Bible says, remember the days of old. So now I'm going to show you something from the days of old, man. From when black people first came here after Windrush. This is in the Windrush book. It says, say you were a white person, you'd get a whole flat for £1.25 a week, a whole flat. And some of them got front and back gardens. If you are lucky enough to get a ground floor, but we were obliged to pay £3 and £3.50 for one room. And at that, you had to cook outside in the passageway. The scripture says, remember the days of old. This sister in 2017 was paying double rent for 3 years. We're reading out of the Windrush book how black people was paying double rent, man. We was paying more than double rent because they was paying $125 a week for a whole flat with a front and back garden. Meanwhile, a black man was paying £3 for one room, not a whole flat, for one room. And you mean to tell me this one's not the devil? You mean to tell me this with this sister's a coincidence? It ain't no coincidence, man. History's repeating itself because this devil's never going to change.
That's right.
And $3.50 for one room. And at that, you had to cook outside in the passageway. They would have this stove and maybe 3-4 people to use the one stove. It was a rat race, really. Because if you put your money in, you make sure you go and put your food on right away so that you can use the money that you put in. So now, they put the stove in the in the passageway. Tazarpan, do you know why they put the stove in the passageway?
If I may, is it the fact that Salakia, the fact that they've got no space and nowhere else to put it? Is that the case?
Basically, this was a whole house, so each family had a room, and they put the stove in the passageway. The reason they
God, Salakia, yeah, they made the kitchen into a bedroom.
Exactly, this man's the devil, man. He made someone rent out the kitchen, man. He made someone rent out that kitchen and use it as a bedroom, and he put the stove in the passageway. And you tell me that we should love these people? Nah, man, that bridge is burnt, man. That bridge is too far burnt, man.
That's right.
And you know what the crazy thing about it is? They treat us how we should treat them, man. Give me Deuteronomy 23. Give me Deuteronomy 23 and 20. I'm gonna show you how the Lord said we can treat them, but now they've become treating us like it, man.
That's right. Salakia, Deuteronomy 23:20.
Yeah, come.
23:20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury.
Unto a stranger, you can lend to him and tell him, yo, you need to pay me triple that. You can put interest on it. That's what usury is interest. Now, we can have a house and know that really this house rent is meant to be 300 a month. We can say to this devil, it's 950 a month. They've started to treat us like that, man. They've took our book and they're using our laws on us, man.
That's right. That's right.
Our laws on us. Whoever charged her extra £500 rent, they hustle her, man. We showed you out of this book. That's been going on for years. It ain't nothing new, man. Like, no matter your position on this earth, as long as you're black or Hispanic, man, everybody's gonna ill-treat you. Everybody's gonna use you. Everybody's gonna steal from you. Everybody's gonna belittle you. It's just how it goes, man.
Right.
Be expecting change. They ain't gonna change, man, because this man's the devil. He ain't gonna change. But read it.
Can. I'll read it again. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury.
Unto thy brother they shall not lend upon usury. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48.
Can. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Can. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
Serving our enemies, it's a shame that we have to go to them for rent, man. It's a shame that we have to go to them for all them things. Read on.
Serve thy enemies in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in want of all things.
And whatever you want, you have to go to them, man. When you're hungry, you have to go to them. When you need clothes, you have to go to them. When you need a roof over your head, you have to go to them. Right. Imagine, because we have to serve our enemies, our rent is £1,000 now. Because we need to serve our enemies, our rent is what? £1,000. And that's how they treat us, man. They ill-treat us. Treat us bad. Treat us like garbage, man. And what do? Hold a place in our heart for them. That's what we do. Oh, this is not all of them are bad. Not all of them are bad. I think you'll find all of them are bad.
That's right.
All of them, every last one of them, man. You listen, the thing is this. Sure, I'm sure every last one of us wasn't bad that ended up on the slave ships, man. I'm sure every last us wasn't bad. But what happened? It's a nation thing, so we all had to go. So with them, if he's a good white man, guess what? He's going too, man. He's picking cotton too. Same way we had to do it, they have to do it too. Any more? Actually, read on. What verse was you at?
Verse 48.
Yeah, go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And the same, man. Put a yoke of iron on your neck and charges you double rent and kills you in the street. Go ahead.
Until he has destroyed thee.
And then the yoke comes off once you're destroyed, man.
That's right.
And we ain't got that yoke on our neck no more. Why? Because we destroyed. It's like an animal, man. You put a chain on it until the animal knows, okay, it can only go so far. The one
That's
day
right.
you can take the chain off because you know the animal's not going to pass
No way.
where it thinks it can't go.
Go
Now
on.
that's we've been trained, like we've been trained to just be a good slave.
Mm,
That's what we've been trained to do, be a good slave. And imagine you're being a good slave, going to work and you're getting paid, charged double rent. Imagine
right.
you underpaid and overpaid in rent.
Mm,
That's what they're doing to us, man. And you mean to tell me there's not something deeper going on behind the scenes? It's just a coincidence. It's more than
go on.
just a coincidence, man. Read on.
That's right. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth.
These devils came from far, man. The other end of the earth to come and get us to pick cotton, man. To come and get us for labor, to come and kill us. Like having a slave is one thing, but why do you need to kill them? Why do you need to beat them? Like why? Having a slave to pick cotton is one thing, but these are killing you and laughing about it like it's a joke. Living the best life. What's wrong with me? So yeah, they be killing us like it's a joke, man. From there, we're gonna go to Deuteronomy 38 and verse 31. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 31. Actually, no.
Khan. Deuteronomy chapter, where is it?
Actually, for time's sake, jump down to 31.
Khan. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof.
And listen, man. Usually, you will kill your ox. Why? Because you're gonna eat. You're gonna kill it and eat. Imagine your ox was killed and you weren't benefiting from it, man. You weren't selling. You weren't making no money off it. The ox that you fed growed on your farm or whatever, and someone else just comes and kills it, and you don't get nothing from it. No meat, no nothing. Go ahead.
God. And thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face.
And your donkey, man, violently taken away, man. Imagine this is back then. This is how you would travel, man. Your donkey and whatnot. Now, some next nation comes and violently takes it away. That's the end of you traveling, man.
Right.
That's the end of you picking up your merchandise. That's the end of you trading. Why? Because your transport's gone. Take it away violently, meaning. Obviously, what happens is when you have a pet or whatnot, you grow to like that pet, like you grow to love your pets, because you know that pet's with you wherever. So you grow to love your pets. You be like, all right, then this is my one, man. This one does this and does that. Obviously, when they say love your pets, not like the white man that has sex with them. I mean, the white man. Esau has sex with his animals, whereas you can have a pet that you love. Like this is you're like, yo, this pet, man. Whenever you go walk that dog, you and that dog, whatever you feed your dog, look after it, take care of it. Like your animals, you take care of them, man. Why? Because the Bible says what? A righteous man regards the life of his beasts. Now, imagine this donkey's yours, man. You've known this donkey from you've had it from birth, and now you see someone violently taking it away, man. It's like your car. You love your car, man. Imagine you see someone just coming to your car, popping the steering wheel, breaking the windows. You're gonna be hurt, saying, "Yo, this is mine, man." That's what this devil done with the ass, which is a donkey. Go ahead.
Right. Oh, Salakia done. No, like a business, your van, like a business van. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
A van that used for your business.
Imagine someone comes and steals all your tools, man. You're gonna be like, damn, that was my drill, man. That was my saw.
Right.
I used to work with these stuff. Tomorrow now it means you're not making no money because you ain't got that equipment.
God.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee.
Meaning they're gonna take it and you're not gonna get it back. And that's what this devil does. He takes stuff from us and we don't ever get it back, man. He took our children. We didn't get them back. It takes everything. Everything that we have, they take it. A black man can't have nothing. Read on.
Right. Okay. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies.
Your sheep shall be given unto your enemies, meaning what? They've already got sheep, but they just want yours, man.
Right.
Imagine he's already got money, but he takes your money. Imagine a man's already got money, but he takes your money. That's what this oppressor does, man. Read on.
Okay. And thou shalt have none to rescue them.
Listen, man. And black people, we don't have no one to rescue us. And what do? We say, well, you can't beat them, join them. So what happens? We end up going to the church, singing and dancing, saying, you know what, just be a good slave because you know things could be worse. That's what black people say, things could be worse. How about this? How about we separate from them and things could be better, man?
That's right.
How about we separate from them and things will be better? You mean to tell me you're in a worse condition and you're saying, you know what, it could be worse? Nah, man. You're supposed to look at that condition and say, I don't like it, man. What do I do to fix this condition? We got the solution, the I.S.U.P.K. Read on.
And God, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Your sons and daughters shall be given unto another people. Imagine that. First of all, your donkey's gone, that's your transport. Your sheep's gone, that's what you eat and make money off. And now children, man. Your children are meant to teach your trade. Imagine you was going to teach your children your trade, which is what? Herding sheep and whatnot. And your sheep are gone. Your transport's gone. And now you're thinking, damn, okay, at least leave us with something. This man also took your children, man. Your children who you love. He's also took them also.
Right.
For you was just crying 10 minutes ago thinking, oh, I can't teach them the trade I had because someone's took my work tools and whatnot. And then now they're tired of taking the children also. Listen, man, the bridge has been burnt, like I keep saying, man. With this devil, the bridge has been burnt a long time ago, man. We can't love him. That bridge has been burnt thousands of years ago. Read on.
That's right. Slacker. Thine eyes, Slacker, and thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail for them all the day long.
Says, your sons and daughters shall be given unto another people. You don't know if this person, just think about it. You don't know if this person they're giving you child to is some child molester, is some murderer, is some rapist. Right. You don't know. All you know is your children's gone somewhere and you don't know where they're gone. Imagine the panic. Remember, this is a time before you could walk around and put out a missing poster. This is before the internet, before you could phone 999 and say, report a person missing. This is before you could post on Instagram, if you see this person, give me a call. This is a time before there was all of them things, man. This is times before there was a sat-nav. Once your child's gone, your child's gone. They're giving them to another people and you never ever see them again. Like I keep saying, the bridge is burnt with this devil, man. You can't love him, man. After all of this, how do you still love him? After all of this, man, this man come ruin your whole life, gave your kids away. Read on.
So like you said as well, you know, like when things like Haiti happens, like when something happens in, you know what I mean, in the so-called third world where our people are, they tend to run, you know, they're running out of a free-for-all and they take all them children and they give them to some saints, you know, them abominable people, man. You know, things like that, man. You know
also, what he likes to do, you see, like when there's when something bad like that happens, what he likes to do is you have to send, like, your charity is not official unless he's running it. Like, you have to send your money to his charity for Haiti, and then you find out later that none of the money got there. You find out later that none of the money got there. So where did the money go? Imagine they're taking poor black people's money, because you know ain't no white people donating to Haiti. They just watch it on the news and laugh. They ain't donating. You got poor black people donating. And then we're thinking, all right, then Haiti should be all right because we donated this much. Come to find out the money don't even go to them, man. Just letting you go, it's a big scam. Read on.
Come, that's right. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
There's no might, no power in our hand. Meaning, You lost your sheep, which is which was your money maker. You lost your donkey, which is what you used to travel around on. You've lost your children, meaning everything that you had, everything that was precious to you, everything that kept your life together, meaning your children, who you're going to teach your trade once they get older so they can make money. You can't teach them that trade. Why? Because your sheep's gone. Your donkey's gone. And you can't teach them anyway because they've gone. So what are you left with? Nothing. So your life's been turned upside down. So you're going to sit down and cry out the rest of your days, man. And they wonder why black people behave the way we do. We're an oppressed people.
Right.
We are people who's been dispirited, man. Like we are people who's disheartened, man. We are people who's oppressed. I mean, we are people with a heavy heart, man. Imagine going through all of that, and then because you ain't got a smile on your face, people say, "Oh, you're miserable every day." Like what have we got to smile about, man? Like we're dispirited, man. We're disheartened. We are oppressed. We're beat down, man. What do we have to smile about, man? We ain't got nothing to smile about. Not with these devils, anyway. I can't sit and laugh with them after reading the book of Deuteronomy, man. No, I can't sit and laugh with them, man. Read on.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
Meaning the fruit of your labors. What's your labors? Your works, man. Another nation eats all of it up. That sister that was paying double rent, she was working just to pay rent, man.
Right.
You're working just to pay rent because these other nations is eating up the fruits of your labor, man.
God.
They have you working just to pay rent, man. And the Bible says oppression makes a wise man mad. Of course, a wise man's going to be mad. You know why? Because a wise man seeing that he's paying double rent, man.
Right.
A wise man seeing that his people's on drugs and on crack. A wise man seeing that the system's against black people.
Right.
Now, a man who's not wise won't see that. A man who ain't wise, he will just see it as, oh, I didn't get the job because I didn't. My interview wasn't that good. Nah, man, it's not that. On somewhere else to make sure you don't get that job, man. They have things in place to keep you from getting that job. But for time's sake, give me Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10.
Oh God. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Go ahead.
Oh God, verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Put on the whole armor, man, so that you can stand the wiles of this devil, man. Why? Because this devil comes with his trickery, man.
Right.
Make sure you don't get a job so you can sell drugs. That's one of the wiles, man. You put on the armor of God, you'll be like, you know what? I can't sell drugs because it's against God. If you ain't got armor, what are you gonna do? Fall for them wiles that is shooting at you, man. You're gonna see them drugs and say, yo, let me sell them. You're gonna end up like Budger Banton, man. Budger Banton did what? What tasted the cocaine in the camera? Did you taste the camera? They said they tasted the cocaine on the camera, man. You're gonna be like Budger Banton, man. Why? Because why they put them wiles out there? But read on.
Oh God. Verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against.
Now you think that you ain't got that job. You think you ain't got that job. Why? Because your interview wasn't good. You think you didn't get into university because the interview wasn't good. You think I didn't graduate school because I'm just not smart. I just didn't study enough. Read that part again.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
You think in that interview, that job interview, is just you and that white man. That's what you think. You think when you're applying for university, it's just if it's just they like your application. That's what you think, man. You think it's just you versus that man. Nah, man. You think it's just us versus white people, just the ones that you see. We ain't wrestling against flesh and blood. Read on.
not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
Against man. A principality is what? Like a state which is run by a prince, man. And this is a state which is run by white people, man. We fighting against white people, man, as a whole, as the whole nation, man. We fighting against their lawyers, their judges, their police, and whatnot. Like we think, oh, this is just flesh and blood, and if I do good, I'll get an interview and I'll get the job. This is the definition of social racism. It says it is the formalization of a set of institutional, historical, cultural, and interpersonal practices within a society that more often than not puts one social or ethnic group in a better position to succeed, and at the same time disadvantages other groups in a consistent and constant matter. That disparities develop between the groups over a period of time. Listen, man, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We fighting against principalities, man. That makes us fall so far behind. You're thinking, oh, my child got all D's in his GCSEs. Nah, man, it's not because your child's dumb. It's because we're fighting against principalities, man. That's what we're fighting against. Read on.
Against powers, against the rulers of darkness.
We're fighting against powers, man. People are scared of the number 666. Listen, man, that's the powers that we fighting against, man. Ain't talking about, we ain't just fighting against the number. We fighting about these devils that rule this earth, man. We fighting against them, man. And they're high up, man. They run this whole earth. 606 devils, man. It says it is the number of a man. That's what it says in the book of Revelations, man. That's the powers who run this earth. Them 666 men. Some lunatic asked me the other day. So if 666 people run the earth, what happens when one dies? Listen, when one dies, there's just someone else just steps off. It's that simple. What happens when what happens when a football player gets injured or retires? They just put another football player on. It's still 11. Like someone thought they had something when they said that. Like they actually thought this was gonna be a wow. He can't answer that one. Listen, man.
Right.
Like what do you think happens with MPs? When an MP dies, what happens? Someone else steps up, man. It's the same thing.
That's right.
Some lunatic thought, oh, we got him in a box now. Listen, man. I just laughed and said, listen, man. When one person dies, clearly they got next people in line, man. It happens with everything. Right. Like with every throne, when someone dies, what happens? There's someone else in line, man. Happens with everything. Someone can't do it. There's someone else in line, man. It's like a job. If one person gets sacked, what happens? They employ somebody else. It's not hard. It's that simple. But read on.
Against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
And now we fighting against the rulers of darkness in this world. You think you're just fighting against this little white man on your job? Nah, man. You're fighting against the rulers of darkness. Go ahead.
Against principality, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
You're fighting against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Like spirit is what? Something that you don't see, man. You're fighting against something that you don't see. Like all this racism, you think you're just going against that, man. You're fighting against spiritual wickedness, man. Meaning they're doing things behind the scenes that you don't see. They see that you've got a black sounding name, we're not going to give you the job. They see that you're black, we're not going to employ you. They do these things. Like you're thinking, oh, it's that man that decided I can't have the job. The rulers of darkness have decided that they don't want to give black people jobs. The rulers of darkness have decided they can't have black people on the payroll. They can't have black people paying for mortgages. They've decided that, man. Read on.
Verse 13. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able.
One sec. Let me get another let me get another article. Let me just pull it here. Let me see if this is the right one.
I'll read that other one while you're doing that, yeah?
Go ahead.
God. Verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the withstand in.
Oh yeah, it says home ownership. It says it says home ownership lies at the heart, representing success, opportunity, and wealth. However, for many of its citizens, for much of the 20th century, the devaluing of black lives led to segregation and racist federal housing policy through redlining that shut out chances for black people to purchase homes and build wealth, making it more difficult to start and invest in businesses and afford college tuition. Still, home ownership remains a beacon of hope for all people to gain access to the middle class. Though home ownership rates vary considerably between whites and people of color, it's typically the largest asset among all people who hold it. Now, there's a reason why black people ain't got houses, man.
That's right.
There's a reason why black people ain't got houses, man. Why? Because this devil don't want you to have houses, spiritual wickedness in high places, the rulers of darkness, man. They don't want you to have them houses. Read that from the up on. Let me pull up another one. See all these. I'm pulling these articles, and people can't even say, "Oh, all they do is read the Bible," because this is outside of the Bible, man. This is articles.
Right.
One sec. Let me see if this is the right one. Go ahead.
That ye may be able to withstand in the day, in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
So now the spiritual wickedness in high places, like you think, oh, you can't get a house. Why? Because you just can't get a job. Well, there's a reason why black people don't get loans. This is called the mortgage discrimination. It says mortgage discrimination or mortgage lending discrimination is the practice of banks, governments, or other lending institutions denying loans to one or more groups of people, primarily on the basis of race, ethnic origin, sex, or religion. And did you know that they done a thing with credit where black people had better credit than white men? And guess what? The white men still got the loan. Black men didn't get the loan, which means if they don't give you a loan, guess what? You can't buy a house because you need that 10% or that 20%. If you don't get a loan from the bank, you can't buy that house. And they don't give you that loan. Why? Because they don't want you to buy houses. Because as long as you buy a house, it means that you can't rent houses from them. In order to keep you low, they can't let you buy a house because you need to rent houses from them. Let me go to another page in this book. Page 131.
And then Salaki other one.
Go ahead.
I've experienced that before, I bought a house a number of years ago, and when we tried to buy it through a certain estate agents, blue and white thingy, for sale sign, we had a hard time getting it, so we went to another one, and we got it through them.
See,
you get me? So we tried to sell it now. We tried to, after a number of years, we tried to sell it now. Same thing. Nothing wasn't happening. We weren't trying to sell it. And we found out what they were doing. So we went back to the same agent that we bought it from in the first place, and they sold it once again. So yeah, there is, I've experienced that, definitely, man.
See, and the reason you experienced that is why? Because you're black, man. But I'm gonna I'm gonna read this. This is page 131. It says, to go out and get rooms, you find a few of the Eastern Europeans, like the Ukrainians, they would let rooms to black people, but there were always rules and conditions, and whatever, you can't have a bath till the weekend. So imagine I'm gonna rent a house, but I can't have a bath till the weekend. This is the rules that they gave black people, man. It says, and also another one, it says you can't wash your clothes in the bath. You can't do this. You can't do that. They couldn't wash their clothes in the bath, but they'd let you wash in the kitchen sink. Listen, man, Preston's dirty, man.
Right.
In the bath, but you can wash in the kitchen sink. Like, how does that make sense, man? Exactly, the bath was made for you to wash in it, man.
Salakia,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think they were taking the mick there, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to put it, but yeah, taking the mick, I think, because that's the last place you want to put your stuff is in the kitchen sink, your clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, they're taking the mick there. They're taking the mick there.
Like it's like you're paying them rent and they're trying to find every way to oppress you at the same time. Like they're trying to
Right,
make
mocking.
they're trying to make your whole stay miserable.
Mocking.
Your whole stay there is miserable. And it says, yes, that was all right, but not in the bath. And we wouldn't understand, what was happening. Says then the few West Indians who came here first, they bought houses and now they were letting rooms. And as people started to come in, you find not only was one sharing a room, but two sharing a room, three sharing a room, four sharing a room. And I don't think people minded that. Meaning like black people, once they started buying houses, they was letting black people rent. And the oppressor hated this, man. Black people's letting black people rent, letting 4 people stay in a room. You see like how the white man does it where if you stay in certain hotels, you have to pay per person. Like all of that nonsense. This is how they was doing it, but it goes, you'd say I'm a girl, but then you might come and they say that's you. One sec. Says that soon disappeared because more people started buying, then you find just one person sharing. Says a room, but the conditions not really gross, but I don't think a lot of people were used to that. I certainly wasn't used to that. When we started buying houses, there was a lot of resentment from the white people, and they don't want black people buying houses, man. They resent you when you buy a house, man.
Right.
See when a black man stands on his own 2 feet and says, yeah, I'm gonna get my house and this and that. White people resent you, man. And that's why they don't give you a loan. This is why they don't want to give you a loan. Because they hate you, man. They'd rather see you struggling paying them rent than allowing you to get a house because they resent you. Says they talked about overcrowding, but what they didn't realize that whatever we lived in back home, most people either lived with their parents or their parents owned their own small holding, and you shared whatever accommodation you have with your own. This is one time when black people loved each other, man, and we was willing to share.
That's right.
Meaning, imagine 10 black people live in one house and you all just split the rent. That's cheap, man. Nowadays, everybody wants their own space. No one wants to stay together no more. So now what do? Rent an apartment off the white man and you're paying them £800 a month when you could just stay with your parents or with black people and it's a lot cheaper. Says, and it's the same thing. While other black people came over here while providing housing for themselves, they were also looking for making a bit of money, and who's against that? And each person was now what we would say, copying what each black person was saying, meaning black people saying, yo, I want my house, I want this and that. I want my own house to work towards it. And immediately they are buying. And if you buy in an area, sometimes you could be there. So if you buy in a nice posh area, you could be there, but no white people speak to you. And it says, and white people would openly say, I don't know where they get their money from to buy houses. Listen, man, do not white people say that to us today? I don't know how this black man can afford that car. I don't know how these black people can afford those clothes. Meaning, everything you do has to be criminal activity to them. These black people say, I don't know how black people afford them houses. I'll tell you how we work, man. We work extra hard. And we're underpaid. We're overworked and underpaid and still afford things. But they have to say, I don't know how black people afford. What they're trying to say is we're paying black people too much. That's what they're trying to say. Let's read on. Says, you know how they come here. See, this is how white people used to talk. They used to say about black people, you know how black people come here and just cause crime and same thing, man. Remember the days are old. This is ages ago and they're still doing the same thing. Says, you know how they come here. We've been here all the while and we can't buy a house. The reason they can't buy a house is because they'd rather buy crack and meth, man. Maybe if you
that's right.
If you didn't buy crack and meth, you probably could buy a house, man. If you wasn't buying crack, meth, and prostitutes, maybe you could buy a house, man. Let's read on. It says, and the comments started buying house. And then this is a brother speaking, and he goes, I remember once I went to look for a house or a flat, and I went in Haringi, and it was a Greek woman who owned this flat, and it was a very nice flat, and I paid down my deposit. And when I went back to take my suitcase, a woman was there, a white woman was there, and she was telling her, don't give the nigger this flat, it's too good for them. That's what she said. Don't give this nigger the flat, it's too good for them. And you wonder why you crammed in the ghettos. The reason why you crammed in the ghettos is why? Because the suburbs is too good for niggas, man. That's how they see it. Don't put these niggas by me. The suburbs is too good for them niggas. This is why we crammed in the ghettos. They said to this man, don't don't give him the flat because it's too good for a nigger. Listen, man, you Oprah Winfrey or whatnot, man. You're still a nigger, man. That's why Winfrey walked in the shop. They treated her how they treat us, man. We're gonna
Right.
get, we're gonna get hold on one sec. Yeah, we're gonna get one sec, please. Yeah, we're gonna get more. We're gonna get more out of the book, man. One sec, we're gonna Google this term. There's a term called Tazarpon. There's a term called. One sec, let me Google it. Called blockbusting. You heard of blockbusting?
Blockbusting. I've heard it. I'm not understanding it, but I've heard it. Yeah.
It says blockbusting is a business process of real estate agents and building developers to convince white property owners to sell their houses at low prices, which they do by promoting fear in those house owners that racial minorities will soon be moving into the neighborhood. So now, these salesmen do what? Tell the white people, yo, sell your houses because tons of niggas is moving into your neighborhood. So they buy the houses off them for cheap.
Okay.
So they buy the houses off them for cheap, and then guess what happens? They then rent them houses to black people for expensive. So they buy them cheap and rent it to black people for expensive, meaning they make money off you, man. Meaning white people don't want to live amongst you, so they sell up and leave. And this is why once upon a time, Kings Norton was a white area. They realized niggas was moving in the neighborhood. White people sold up them houses and moved. Now, Kings Norton's near enough to ghetto now. Kings Norton's near enough to ghetto now. Full of black people there now. Because that's what they do, man. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what blockbusting is. All these things is ways that they keep black people down, man. Is that imagine they buy the houses and then rent it to you, and then you're paying all that rent, and then you can never buy your own house, man.
Right.
That's what they do, man. Like everything we're reading is true, man. You find it in all articles and everything else. And we're gonna get one more, man. Let's get one more. On the back of that, this is another page 129. It says, we moved from place to place. I can't tell you the amount of places we lived. And then we saw this flat advertised and we went to look at it. And I didn't know about coal cellars. So this man went to buy a house. He didn't know about a coal cellar. A cellar is what? Where they used to leave the coal underneath the house.
Oh, cellar.
So this man had done up the coal cellar. And so you had a bedroom and a kitchen. Imagine this devil done up the coal cellar and rented the coals, the cellar where you leave the coal to the brother, man.
Right.
Rented it to the bedroom. So it says, when people passing you could look through the grill and see male or female. So every time you light the gas, after about 10 or 15 minutes, the water started streaming down the wall. So there was some reason that every time you light the gas, because it's a coal cellar, so every time you light something, water would come down. Says, and this man says, man lived in the coal. So like, you say that again.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it like a sprinkler?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And this man was living there. They had him living in a coal cellar, where you know a coal is all that black stuff where people like
soot,
which is flat, yeah, which is flammable. And they had this man living in the coal cellar. And let's read on. It says, and this black man said, I cooked my first Christmas dinner in this country under an umbrella. So cause the sprinklers would come on, this man cooked a Christmas dinner in the cellar under an umbrella. Listen, man, black man, how are you celebrating Christmas when you're living in a coal cellar, man?
Right.
Imagine this devil's living in a big house and you're living in a cellar where coal is, where it's flammable.
That's right.
And the sprinklers come on every time you cook. Let's read on. Says, I just went out and brought an umbrella, put it up over the cooker so that it was all right. So when I start to cook, I open the umbrella, put it up, and then nothing drops on me or in the pot. I really got a very bad cold. Of course, you're gonna get a cold, man, if you're working you're working and sprinklers is coming on. It ain't worth paying rent for, man. He says, and things were difficult. And so the minister came and saw me and he said, oh my God, what are you doing in this coal cellar? So a minister came and said, oh my God, what are you doing in the coal cellar? He says, and apparently he went back and told people in the church what was happening. And the Sunday morning, this woman came up to me and virtually in tears and she said she was so very sorry. holding onto my hand and said, "Oh, Sybil, I'm so very sorry. And really, I know yourself and Joe is all right, but I've got the children to think of, and nobody in my street yet has taken in any colored. And I'm sorry, I can't really let you all a room." Meaning, they didn't want to rent rooms to black people, man. They didn't want to give rooms to black people. So much that they rented this man the coal cellar. Imagine this man must have cooked his Christmas dinner covered in soap, man. Must have been covered in coal and everything, man. Imagine the amount of coal would have been covered in, because they got him cooking his food in the cellar. Let's read on.
Right.
And,
Salakia.
go ahead.
And it's just saying his health, it wouldn't be good for his health. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And
That's
also,
mental, man.
coal sellers, they found that by working in coal mines, it leads to what? Asbestos, your lungs, messes up your lungs, and it's linked to asthma and cancer.
Right.
And this man said when he came, he didn't know about a coal cellar. So they put his life in danger, man, just to make some money off him. And he's sleeping amongst coal, breathing it in day in and day out, messing up his lungs. Just read on. He said, "I really have to think of the children and the family, and I'm really sorry. I don't know what to do. And the man said that I yanked my hand out of hers and said, I didn't ask to come and live at your house. He goes, that was my church sister, but nobody on the street had taken in any coloreds yet. He says, so she was afraid or ashamed to let coloreds in because she had children to think of and the family to think of, so she couldn't let us the room. And this man said, the nice houses we lived in, we had to leave early in the morning and they didn't let us back until 8 o'clock in the night. Now, imagine you rent a house and they kick you out of that house at 6 in the morning and you can't come to the house at 8 in the evening. Do you know why they kicked you out of the house so early? Because they didn't want their neighbors to see that they was renting to black people, man.
That's right.
They didn't want to see black people in the suburbs, man. But they kicked them out at 6 in the morning and they only come back at 8 o'clock. That was in the winter, and in the summer it was later than that they could come back.
Wow.
So sleep there. Imagine you're paying all that rent, but you're not allowed to be there. Why? Because how white people's gonna look at you. And this is what happens. This is why in 2020, when you go to the suburbs, what happens? Police pull you over. What are you doing here? You look suspicious. Same thing. You couldn't be there because you look suspicious, and you're trying to tell me that this devil's changed. This devil ain't changed, man. But with that, that brings us to the end of the class. We'll continue it next week. We're gonna do the announcements. We're out of here.
Shall I carry the one?
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me chime out and come back in because it's gone low, can't hear.
Oh yeah, no sir.
Good.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA, rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After these 6 months, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21. Malachi 3:8-10 means 10th ma'ashra, 10% of any increase you receive from the Lord. Give to the Treasury Department. Priest fund, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations is Hanukkah on the 9th of December. All Akim and Akwaf, check the bulletin board in the hallway, and to check all I.S.U.P.K social media. So the Google My Business, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves, And with that, we're going to give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imadium. Men of Israel, Imadium Shabbat. Imadium, Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatha. Yad Yamatah. Class dismissed.
Another one.
All right, Shalom,